Whether you're making it for yourself or for someone else, this Valentine's Day project is going to be super groovy. Hi, I'm Katie, and today we're going to be making some Valentine's Day earrings. I was inspired on my front porch actually by my grandmother's old wind chime, believe it or not, and it was just blowing in the breeze, and I was like, wow, that actually would make a really cool chandelier earring for Valentine's Day. So I made the shape with wire and dangled some beads. Let's go over the tools and supplies for this project. We're going to need 18 gauge German style wire. I prefer German style, it just holds its shape better, but that's also a preference. So just 18 gauge, a pair of ear wires. You're going to need some 2-inch head pins, 10 per earring, some beads, and you're going to need your 6-step bail shaping plier, a 1-step looper, flesh cutter, bent chain nose plier or just any kind of chain nose plier really, and a flat nose plier. Okay, so let's get started. Grab your wire and cut about a foot with your flush cutter. And then grab your 6-step bail shaping plier, and using the smallest cylinder, we're going to make a loop in the center of the wire. So just grab it here. And wrap around. And this is going to be the bottom of your heart. The way that I measure how to get my next loop is I actually grab the wire in the flat part of the plier here. So I like to just hold it just beyond that loop with my plier, and then I mark it with my hand here, and then grab the plier right there. And then I'm going to make another loop right here. And as you go around, you kind of move your plier because you want it to be flat in line with that first one. And do the same thing 2 more times on this row. Grab it with your plier, mark it with your hand, grab it here. Make sure you're using the same rung on your plier. And it doesn't really matter if you wrap under or over at this point, just make sure that both sides of your earring, of your heart, follow the same pattern. Okay, got 3. And one more time. Grab it with your plier, mark it with your hand, and make a loop. Okay, so that is going to be going up one side. We're going to repeat that over here as well. So grab it here, mark it. And this is where I was talking about you want it to follow the same pattern. I can see at this loop, I went over this one. Just repeat 2 more times. Okay, so now I have the base of my heart done, and I'm just going to lightly press down on those loops with my flat nose to make sure everything's pretty flat. That's what it looks like from above. Okay, so bring those two sides up and we're going to make our little arches. And just a side note, if you're making earrings, you might want to go ahead and start your second piece at this point so that while you're working, you can line them up, make sure they are similar and spaced out. Okay. To make our little arches, we're going to actually use the largest cylinder on our tool. So, once again, I'm using the tool as my measuring device and I grab it just beyond the last loop that I made. And then bend it around like that. And then same with the other side. Okay. Next, we're going to make 3 more little loops and start by just making 2 right here. These I don't really have a perfect measurement for. I just kind of eyeball these because they're the only 2 up here. Just make sure they're on the inside of the heart. See, I'm going to do this one first. Okay. That one and then one more. Just make sure these 2 are across from each other. All right. Now what we're going to be doing is our loops in the center. And one of the loops is going to go down to hold a bead and one is going to go up to hold the ear wire. So it's the same kind of process, but there's a little trick to it that I'll show you. Where those lines intersect is where we're going to be working. So grab with the smallest rung again, and we're going to make a loop. It's almost just a continuation of what we did here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other piece. It just helps to have those tails on the outside and not in the heart design. So right over where I just made that loop, I'm going to grab it with my plier and make one more. See that, how they kind of line up and you can see through them? Okay. Now with these 2 tails, I'm going to flip them up so they follow the edge of the heart. I'm actually going to keep my plier in there so I keep my loop. Just going to bring that up like that. Whoops, shape him a little bit better. Okay. And then same with the other one. And with my plier, I'm going to fix that little crook. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so now you can kind of see those follow the shape of the heart. One of these we're going to flip up and that will hold the ear wire, and then the other one we will just leave there, and then we're going to make little coils. So decide which one you want to flip up. I'm going to use this one here and just flip it. Grab it, flip it up, just like that. It's a good time if you need to kind of roll any of the loops a little tighter or looser to make it look more like a heart. You can do that still now. And I'm going to roll this one just a little more. I feel like it's super close to that other one. Okay. Now we're just going to make a little coil on either side of that figure 8 that we made. And this is 18 gauge. It can be a little tricky. Just take your time. Push it around slowly. And just wrap it a couple of times. And before I trim it, I'm going to do the other one because you definitely want to trim on the same side that you know will be the back of your earring. And sometimes I'll just wait until I'm done wrapping my coils to see which side looks better. Or if I need to wrap 1 or 2 more times or something like that. So, okay. I'm actually going to see where that's kind of lumpy. I'm going to just use my plier to kind of help me there. Even that out. And I like this as the front. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it and trim those wires using the flat side of my flush cutter right up against it. And then you want to make sure you tuck those tails in with your chain nose. Okay, so now we're ready to add beads. Okay, so we're going to use 10 per earring. I'm going to go ahead and load my head pins up and then loop them all at the same time because I think that's faster. Like a little assembly line. That's kind of how I see it. These are little crystal teardrops. They are so cute. Any Chinese crystal would work, or anything, any bead really that you want to use. I'm going to be using the one-step looper that makes 1.5 millimeter loops just because I like a smaller loop, but you can use whichever one you have or prefer, and you can also just use the classic way of round nose plier if you like. Stick it through my plier. We have a whole video dedicated to this tool if you need a more in-depth explanation, but basically it just makes the loops in one step. It's pretty amazing. Boom. Alrighty, so I've got those all looped, and I like to use my bent nose plier for this. One of my new favorite tools of the year. I've just never really had one on my bench. So now that I have it, I love it for this type of project. So you're just going to open up all these little loops and paying attention to which side is the front or back, you'll put them on your form and then close them up. And then they dangle. When you're opening these little loops up, you want to make sure that you twist them open. Grab it. Kind of twist it open like you would a jump ring. That keeps your loop beautiful and round. And then when you close it, twist it back. All right, so the only thing left to do now that we've added all 10 of our dangles is to attach our ear wire. And you're just gonna take your ear wire, open up the loop, twisting as we've done before, and then slide it onto that top middle loop and close it up. These are what the finished design looks like in my ears. They're so fun to wear, lightweight, and they're gonna make a great Valentine's gift for you or someone you love. Let's go over the tools and supplies one more time for this project. We've got our 18 gauge German style wire, head pins. You'll need 10 per earring, a pair of ear wires, and some beads. Got our bent chain nose plier, flush cutter, 1-step looper, chain nose, flat nose, 6-step bail shaping plier. If you need to pick up any of the tools or supplies we used today, check out the links in the description below. And while you're there, let us know in the comments what other Valentine's Day design ideas you have in mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And now that you know how to make the heart chandelier earrings for Valentine's Day, you can say, I made this.